Hi everyone, my name is Justin Appleton and this is my final presentation for Linguistics 316. My project is called Bilingual Identity and Language Use, José Zepeda's Story. For this project, I interviewed José, who is a bilingual in English and Spanish, and I analyzed his speech and language experiences. Today I'll walk you through what I learned about his language use, how it connects to linguistics concepts from class, and what it shows about bilingual identity. For this project, I interviewed José Zepeda. José grew up bilingual, speaking Spanish at home and English mostly at school and later at work. That balance between two languages has shaped how he communicates, depending on the setting. At home with family, he sticks to Spanish, but in school and professional settings, he switches over to English. The main research question I focused on is, how does bilingual identity shape communication and self-perception? In other words, I wanted to see not just how José uses his language, but also how switching between them affects how he sees himself and how others see him. One thing I noticed when José speaks is how his Spanish background influences his English pronunciation. For example, instead of saying school, he'll sometimes say a school. That extra E sound comes straight from the Spanish rules, since words in Spanish usually don't start with an S followed by another consonant. Another example is how his vowels in English tend to be shorter when he's been speaking Spanish. Spanish vowels are very consistent and clipped, so that carries over when he switches back to English. Both of these show cross-language influence at the phonological level, meaning the sound system of one language impacts how he produces the other. For José, Spanish and English carry very different meanings depending on the situation. Spanish is the language of home, family, and culture. It's tied to belonging and personal identity. English, on the other hand, is more about professionalism and education. It's the language he uses in school, at work, and he wants to present himself in a formal way. Because of this, he often code switches, moving between Spanish and English, depending on who he's talking to and the context. That shift isn't just about language, it reflects a shift in identity. When he's speaking Spanish, he connects more with his heritage, and when he's speaking English, he's aligning with academic or professional spaces. José grew up as simultaneous bilingual, meaning he was exposed to Spanish from birth at home and then picked up English once he started school. Over time, his language dominance shifted. Spanish was stronger when he was younger, but as he moved through school and work, English started to become the dominant language. Even with that shift, he's managed to keep fluency in both languages. That makes him what's called a balanced bilingual, someone who can comfortably communicate in both languages depending on the setting. To wrap up, bilingualism is more than just the ability to speak two languages. It's about how those languages interact with each other and shape a person's experiences. In José's case, his speech clearly shows the influence of Spanish on his English, especially in terms of phonology. We also see how language is directly tied to identity and belonging. Spanish connects him to the family and culture, while English connects him with education and professionalism. The big takeaway here is that language isn't just a tool for communication, it's central to who we are, our culture, and our identity. Here are the references I used for this presentation. Grosjean's Bilingual Life and Reality was really useful for understanding bilingual identity and everyday language use. Ortega's Understanding Second Language Acquisition helped explain how José's language development shifted over time. And finally, I also drew some of the course readings from Linguistics 316, which connected directly to concepts like phonology, code switching, and bilingualism.